Hello and welcome back to the Villa Filler podcast. It's the evening after the night before, and you will all be delighted to know I'm back here with my good friend Dan Wiseman. Dan, how's it been, man?
Hey,
You've been away. You've seen some
yes,
wonderful sights in sunny Seville, and not only that,
yeah.
but you've got. I'm envious, mate, because you got to watch good football. You had a
Wow,
night of
wow.
brilliant
Yes,
football.
yes. It was it's really interesting, because yeah, I had a great time. I had a great time. And it was really interesting because Seville played really good in places, but not good in others. And it's two draws against Osasuna against Valladolid to start their season. We saw the 1-1 draw with Valladolid. They went a goal down. And I was watching this, I was like, man, you've got a home favourite chasing European football, losing to a newly promoted side, the fans losing patience with the manager. I was like, am I on holiday, or is this, am I in some weird dimension where somehow the Villa are playing in all white in front of me? But no, it was good, mate. It was good. Saw some really good players. Saw Isco and Papu Gomez on the pitch at the same time, which is like, that's like, and honestly, it's like I watched those. I cherished every moment because like I don't think those kind of players will kick around for too much longer, man. Like those kind of
No.
magical number 10s. I think that will be a thing of the past. So to see two of them in action, two greats of the modern era, was something special, mate. But yeah, Seville was nice. And a belated happy birthday, mate. I was gutted. I wasn't around to to sing it
You're
to
too
you on the
kind.
podcast. So I'll save you the song. And happy birthday, mate. It's good to catch up.
Thank you very much. It is, man. It's so good to have you back. I think the viewers are probably sick to death of because I feel like at the best of times, mate, even though we're always glass half full, things as they have been at Villa have been fairly negative, and sometimes it does take another person's view to. You made me feel so much better about the Everton game, mate, and rightfully so because we ended up going on to win that game. Um, but here we are now, mate. Bolton last night. I mean, Palace
Yeah.
was brutal. I don't even want to talk about Palace, mate. But that's all said and done. That's been in the past. Bolton. I've had a lot of time to think and reflect on it. I wasn't stuck in that traffic on the M6 on the way back down to Birmingham, thank God, because we actually went into Bolton. We thought we'll beat the traffic. I went and saw a friend who I've not seen for a while, and
Nice.
then we thought we would head down, and we had no issues. But everybody else, I think we got home at the same time as everybody else. Got back to Villa Park at about 1:30 in the morning, but we weren't waiting in the
Blimey.
traffic. So I've had a lot of time to sit and think about it. I did think about doing something this morning before work, but woke up. You were keen to speak about this and share your thoughts, mate. So I was more than happy to wait and give myself an even clearer perspective on what happened last night, because the first half was nothing short of a disgrace. Now, at the time of recording this, it is important to know it's currently 1-1 in the Newcastle and it's not, I almost said Crewe
Is it
Alexandra.
Tranmere?
It's Tranmere Rovers.
Yeah.
Tranmere Rovers went 1-0 up against Newcastle, right? And I think it's really important to just preface that right now. We don't know how the game's going to be come the end of this podcast, but Tranmere went a goal up against Newcastle, which is exactly what happened in our game. To be honest, I haven't seen their goal back. I did feel like there was maybe a foul in the build-up, but it doesn't really. Bieber and Dougie kind of cross pass. A lot of things were wrong in that first half, and I'm more than happy to give Bolton the credit where credit is due, because they attacked us with real intent, real intensity, and they had a game plan, which for the most part they executed as well as they could. And I think the reality of this tie was always going to be, Dan, that the League One, the plucky League One side coming up against a Premier League giant who has essentially played the full strength side alongside Ashley Young, really going at it again, exactly how we've seen this Newcastle game start off. And that's always going to present you with problems. What didn't help, however, is the fact that we've come into this game absolutely stinking, and fans were really hoping that we would sort of blow them away 2-3, 4-0 first half, and then the game's completely over. How the game actually panned out to be was they ended up tiring themselves out, and that's when Villa, sort of we came alive, and we were picking the holes in the defence a lot easier, and things just had, we have a penalty and a few things like that. But I've sat and I've thought about it a lot, and the first half is genuinely I can't forgive that because we were dreadful. But again, I have to give Bolton credit for that, mate, because I thought, I don't mean it in a condescending or in a patronising way, but I would have been pleasantly surprised had it not have been Villa. Do you know what I mean? Like I would and had it like just the nature of, you know, you play 90 minutes of football and then it's straight to penalties. There's so much to play for, and Villa just weren't at it in the first half. And I think we can't be too mad at the result, I guess, but maybe the manner of the first half is what a lot of people are struggling with.
Yeah, look, mate, I think the first thing that we've got to sort of start all of this with is that, yes, we wanted to play better throughout. But you make a very good point in referencing the Newcastle game, mate. And if you actually look at the round of results as a whole, and, you know, you sort of got to caveat that because there are still some games going on now. So I'll only take the games that are finished. We have arguably the most convincing scoreline of any Premier League team playing any opposition. I'll run you through the results. Everton won 1-0 away at Fleetwood. Fulham lost to Crawley Town. You've got Leicester needed penalties to get past Stockport County. Wolves only just got past Preston 2-1 at home. They needed a wonder goal from Adama Traore to win there. Crystal Palace 2-0 at Oxford. Brighton are currently 2-0 up at Forest Green. The only other result which can potentially hold a candle to ours is Notts Forest away at Grimsby Town. They won 3-0. So it's not like other Premier League teams will go into lower league opposition and blowing them away. Now, I'm not saying for a second that excuses the performance in the first half, because it doesn't. But all I'm saying is that you make a good point, mate, in that these games are never as easy as we sort of paint them out to be. And I think, honestly, I would say, maybe even Villa cap off, that our result on paper, a 4-1 win away at Bolton, is perhaps the most convincing scoreline of any. We scored more goals than any other Premier League team yesterday. And like Premier League teams were playing teams from like League Two. I mean, Leicester needed penalties against Stockport. If I'm correctly, they just got promoted into the Football League for like the first time in like something crazy. So I think, yeah, grain of salt. However, it doesn't excuse the performance yesterday. There are some questions raised. I still think, as I said to you before we came on air, mate, the time away and sort of been able to take a step back from it all and analyse has given me a new perspective on things. Partially because I've been finally catching up with the Arsenal All or Nothing documentary. And you see where they were last season compared to this season, how they started the season. They were bottom of the league. They hadn't scored a goal in like going into the first international break. And everything like that, all these and you sort of think the amount of times we've both looked at our timelines, meant and gone, Arteta's surely got to go. They can't stick with this, and they've stuck by that project, and finally, they are reaping the rewards of that. It took obviously we sort of quite fitting because obviously we played them this weekend, but West Ham, David Moyes has needed 2 goes at this job. He's already been sacked once, and he's it's so rare that you see overnight transitions in football from a manager that's never happened, like managed in the Premier League, that takes a team that finished mid to bottom half, middle of the bottom half last season, and takes them to a European team overnight. I know we want to have seen more progress than this in an instant. I know it's inexcusable. I know that Stevie hasn't got it right yet. I know there are question marks. I've got some myself. Where is Ludwig Augustinsson? Surely that's the kind of game that he's nailed on at starting yesterday if we're not playing. In these, he's not even in the squad. Surely that's his kind. I know we're playing full strength team, but surely that's the kind of game that you embed him into quite nicely. Where's he? There are so many other questions. What's going on with Cam Archer? It's not really good enough that he's getting sort of a throwaway, like fleeting appearance at the end. So many questions. I could sit and talk about it for hours. But my overriding thing is, mate, is that there are, if you look at the bottom 6 of the Premier League, and I'll include this weekend's opponents in this, there are so many teams going through what we are. So many teams. We're not in a unique situation. I don't think it's all doom and gloom. The way that the timeline is right now, man, is bad. I mean, we're 13th and we're sat above West Ham, Leicester, Wolves, Everton, Liverpool, Bournemouth, and Man United. It's like we
You're being too reasonable. You're being way too reasonable, Dan.
Far from the only team that's going through this. I'm not saying it's excusable, but all I'm saying is chill out. I know you might want Gerrard out, but honestly, he's going nowhere. For Christian Purslow, this is his appointment. And for as long as he is chief executive, he's going to stick by this man. You said before on air, mate, It's the World Cup. Genuinely, I think this run has to go on until November. I think it has to reach about 10 games before we pull the trigger on Stevie. That's how much patience I think he's going to get. We are not going to be rash. Gerrard is not going after 3 games and an EFL Cup win. Like, it's not happening. We have to stick by him. We have to support this team, man. Like, I've never seen Twitter this bad, not in a long time. And it's like, I know we're more disconnected from the team than we were under Dean Smith. I know that feels like a far cry. I know that Villa fans making the kit and Villa fans wearing the armband and Villa fans on the touchline feels like such a distance away. But that's a once in a lifetime thing, right? Honestly, fans of any club in the world will perhaps like to even down to the kit manufacturer. Man, that's crazy. We've got to sort of look at those as glory days and say that it's not going to be like that. And so, yeah, man, I just think we have to take a step back. We have to be reasonable. I know it's not great, and by all means criticize the performance, but like the level that it's got to, man, like towards guys like John McGinn and stuff like that. I know he wasn't great, man, but he's our captain, and look what he's done for this club. We need to be better towards that guy. I know he's not playing great, but like I just feel like we need to ease off, man. We're so early in this season. If Gerrard hasn't got it right by the World Cup, mate, he should be long gone, in my opinion. But I'm just saying, you see so many different examples across the league where it's taken managers time to get it right, man. And I think we just have to give Stevie that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he's free of criticism. I just think he needs a bit of time. We need to ease off, chill out a little bit.
Yeah.
I do think it can get better because I don't think it can get much worse.
I think it's an accumulation of things, though, isn't it? It's like, it's the fact that Cam only gets 8 minutes. And it's the fact that a month ago, the stance was he's in the squad, and it's the same with Tim. And now all of a sudden they're set for loans. And I think the papers are saying QPR, which would make sense, of course, to give Beard a bit of a helping hand.
He needs it, by the way. That's the only other thing is that Mickey Bill was sort of hailed as this sort of godlike figure when he left. And but QPR are stinking out the Championship right now, mate. They've got 1 win from their first 5. So he's not the sort of do you know what I mean? So it's this is what I'm saying. Yeah, I think for me it is, as I say, it's the accumulation. And I'm glad you brought up the Arsenal doc. I'm a few episodes behind still, but I've always been a trust the process guy. I think that if you've listened to the Villa Filler for the longest time, it was probably only right at the very end, even in the Steve Bruce days, where I thought, okay, well, it is time to go. I will hold my hands up and say I was more than happy to keep Bruce for as long as possible, just blindly and hoping that the situation would resolve itself. But I think with Arteta, it always kind of felt like the pressure that was on Arteta is from the fans, and I guess you could kind of say that Gerrard is under a certain amount of pressure from the Villa fans and how they're feeling. It never really felt like he was in serious trouble. I don't know. It's hard to say, really. But I always kind of felt like, right or wrong, Arteta kind of deserved the time. But I don't think I've seen anything just yet from Gerrard, to me at least, that shows he knows what he's doing, and that's the concerning thing. And again, I don't want to sit here and dig out John McGinn, mate, but he was stinking. And again, it's this accumulation of small things. Let's take the armband off the one. I think you could probably say Emmy could be a captain, but Tyrone is the natural leader of that group, right? You're going to take the armband off him, and then you're going to make up a few excuses about needing to focus on his own performance. Well, he's made a rod for his own back, really, John McGinn, isn't he? Because he's burdened him with the captaincy, and performances have been diabolical. He was decent. He had a really good game against Everton. I'll give it that. I thought McGinn was great, but the nature of that game, Everton with sort of 10 men behind the ball, that's going to allow a progressive midfielder like McGinn to have a bit of a field day. But he's been stinking the place out this whole season. And yeah, it's just, as I say, it's an accumulation of things, mate. And I'm very frustrated. But the thing is, and the fickleness of football fans, and especially Villa fans, mate, is we win on Sunday against West Ham, and it's all almost forgotten about, isn't it? Because we'd have another 3 points on the board. And we'll come on to a West Ham preview. We'll probably do that later in the week, because we've got till Sunday for that one. And I think they've got a Europa League game. Is it tonight or tomorrow?
A
I'm not
qualifier.
sure actually, mate. That's a good point. Yeah, it's the second leg, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's tomorrow. Tomorrow.
So we're probably going to be in a better position to preview that either tomorrow night or maybe even Friday for you guys. So keep an eye out for that on the channel. But it's just, yeah, I don't know. I'm just glad that Villa got the win last night, mate. I really am. I think that is like the result. I think, to be honest, the results will trump the performance, whether the performance is good or bad. If we play shocking football and win games, I think that's what we need to do at the moment, just to get points on the board and to build that winning mentality up that I just think that we are so severely lacking. And I think as well, if you're going to want to attack games the way that Gerrard wants to, and you're going to want to look to try and win games and control games better, then you have to play Douglas Luiz. My guy scored from the corner spot yesterday. He looked brilliant. Like, I think there was a stat up to the 17th minute. He had 100% pass accuracy. That's almost unheard of. Obviously, it's not for the whole game. It's for 70 minutes of the game. But like, that's John McGinn probably didn't even manage, but he's 16% yesterday off the dome. Do you know what I mean? And again, like, I don't want to sit here and dig him out because I do love John, and that's just not what we do at the Villa Filler. But there's just so many, like, there's so many things that aren't like, they're not adding up, mate. We're not getting 2 + 2 is 4. We're getting 2 + 2 is -1. Like,
yeah.
And it's there's just a constant sort of mental gymnastics that's kind of exhausting me with Villa at the moment.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And I think, you know, just obviously I know you've done. We've never really been this transparent. It feels like we're hearing about a lot of rumors and stuff like that. And it felt like the Sarr deal, you could almost see it progressing minute by minute on the timeline. And we didn't really do that last season. And I'm not saying it's a problem, but I'm just saying that the one thing I will say, well done, is that I love the club didn't like take themselves for a mug. You know, if it's clear that if Sarr did change his mind at the last minute, or Watford changed their mind, whatever happened in the last minutes of that deal where Villa went, nah, you're all right, mate. I rate it. We're not mugs. We're not going to, like, people know we're a rich club. We're not going to be taken at, like, you know, held at gunpoint and forced to sign things that we don't agree with or haven't been agreed upon. I like it that we back down from that. I think it's clear that it wasn't a Stevie sort of deal. And it'd be interesting to sort of see who comes in at centre half, because we've seen a whole bunch of names linked, and it wouldn't surprise me if a couple of came in, because we sort of need that, to be honest with you, after letting Courtney go. So yeah, I think it's, look, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a few things that I say with Gerrard do annoy me. We need to get a better nailed on sense of what our best team is, because I don't know. I have no idea. Stevie doesn't know. Nobody does. Honestly, nobody does. Nobody does. Nobody can nail down a consistent level and say, yes, that is 100% Villa's best team. And so that needs to change. We need to have more faith in guys like Cam Archer and stuff like that, man. But part of me sort of feels for Watkins and Ings a little bit, because they're not being given great service. Bailey needs to really, that's an assist and a goal in his last 2 games, and I thought he looked impressive after coming on against Bolton. So there are positive signs. But as you say, mate, as you say, I said this summer that if things aren't sorted out by the summer, Stevie getting his own players in, sign his own players, there's no excuses. And there's not 100% that there's not. I'm not fully into the doom and gloom just yet. I'm still seeing a few cracks of light, and being the optimistic fan I am, I'll cling on to those. I completely get why people are seeing the bad end of the stick and it's all doom and gloom. I'm just not quite there yet.
Yeah, no, it's understandable, mate. Like, you know, I kind of wish I was able to remove myself like you have for the past week. I will in a few weeks' time, actually. I'm not around for the Leicester game. So, you know, I won't be watching that, and Dan will be riding solo on that podcast. But it's, I don't know. Like, what do you make of Bednarek and Diallo? I'm going to probably title this about, you know, Diallo transfer rumour mill. I'd love to give you guys a deep dive on the stats and numbers of Paris Saint-Germain's 5th choice centre-back. But as you can imagine, it's not a really large sample size of things to take. And when you look at the numbers, the only statistic that stick out as glowing and things that I would love to sit here and endorse are his not only his pass completion rate, which is 98% pass completion rate, and he's attempting 69 passes a game on average per 90, which is mental. Completing 1.4 dribbles per 90 as well. That's brilliant. He's winning 1.52 of his aerials per 90. Again, that's brilliant. But like, that's in a Paris Saint-Germain defense.
Mm-hmm.
That's in they're dominating possession, which explains why the passes attempted and the pass succession rate is obviously so high. And by all accounts, this guy looked like a talented kid when he first came to Paris Saint-Germain. And understandably, when you've got the likes of Sergio Ramos who came in, last summer, Marquinhos, Thiago Silva's been there as well. And then I think, the fourth choice centre back's just gone to West Ham, Keller, or however you pronounce his name.
You've got Kimpembe in there as well.
And Kimpembe, how could I forget Kimpembe, mate? He is fifth choice. He is absolutely fifth choice. He barely plays. He's a cup guy. I wouldn't be against it. They're saying £8 million, mate. And this is the situation that we ultimately have found ourselves in by your big buy in the summer. He's gone and got himself injured, which is obviously no fault of his own or no fault of our own. But we can't, Diego was the guy. You can't replace the guy. And obviously we've had people kind of back out, like Courtney's left. Massive fan of Callum Chambers, but I think it kind of showed last night. He struggled a little bit in that first half. And I'm a massive Callum Chambers advocate. I'm happy to put that down to lack of game time. But there was a few questionable sort of misreadings of flights of balls and passes and stuff with Cal, which is generally quite out of character, I find. I just think we're in a really sticky situation when it comes to recruiting. I've not spoke about Bednarek because I didn't see the point, one, in killing myself and getting a video out while you were away, mate. And two, a lot of people had already spoke about it, and I didn't really think we want to bring something to you guys if we can really add value to it. And I think everything that has been said about Bednarek has been said. It's not really that impressive, is it, mate? But it's the situation we're in.
Yeah, that's my point, mate. Is that is Jan Bednarek as an absolute emergency, oh my God, we need bodies signing, awful? No. If he's I think this situation, honestly, man, if this cloud has got a tiny silver lining, is that this gives us the chance to, which we wouldn't have had if Carlos wasn't injured, to, you said a few podcasts ago, mate, that realistically, Mins in concert, is that going to deliver us to Europe? No, it's not. It would be lovely if it did. What a story. But it just doesn't happen really in football. It doesn't really happen. No. You don't come up with the same centre-back partnership. Sorry, but obviously I know Concert wasn't there, but Mings was. And then him coming in from Tottenham and stuff like that, from Brentford, and taking us straight to Europe, it would be lovely. But it just doesn't happen. If there's one silver lining that can come out of this, is that we can buy a player who can come in alongside probably Tyrone for the remainder of this season. But when Carlos is back, if he comes back and he's performing at a good level, he can slot in instead of Tyrone. And then without any sort of complications of having to shunt both players out at the same time, we can upgrade. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So It's I think a name like Diallo, if he's a good profile of player because it's cheap, it works out realistically, we're not going to go out and spend another 30 million on a centre-back. I'd love to, but I just don't think it's going to happen. We have to be shrewd. I think that's shrewd. It's someone that's got a good experience. PSG bought him for about 35 million euros. So they're selling at a massive loss. I think it's good value. And I think honestly,
champion.
Yeah. Recently went with Senegal and played with Koulibaly at the back. That's a really good partnership. He ticks a lot of boxes. He's left-footed. He's played a bit of DM. He's played a bit of right back. He's fast. He's really good in the air. He's really intelligent. Can pass well, as you said, mate. This is as good as you're going to get. I genuinely think. I was looking at Khaled. I did I saw a mini thread the other day on Khaled Shah because I was it looked like there was reports that he'd already said goodbye to his teammates at Marseille, and I was like, that's pretty good. And Diallo's better than him, 100%. So it's I think this is as good as we're going to get. And if this is the link, if this is the guy that comes in, I think that's really good, because what that allows us to do is when Carlos comes back, and if there's one thing I can say about the Palace game is that Ebere Eze tore us up, and he's just come back from the exact same injury that Carlos has just done, the Achilles tear. That's what Eze's just come back from. And look, it's literally like he's never stopped. He's playing at the same level, if not better. So it can be done. And I think if Diallo comes back and he's playing well, and he can then we can partner him up with Diego Carlos. That's pretty good. I don't mind that.
It's a nice looking defence. It is a nice looking defence. It's it's the best that you can get. And I don't like. My dad asked me about it earlier. He's like, "Oh, what are you saying?" And I'm like, "Well, it's not terrible, but it's also not amazing." But I think sometimes, and this is kind of how I felt with Bednarek as well. You will not find me on Twitter replying to every tweet that Villa do go and announce Bednarek. You won't see me doing that with anyone anyway, because that's just cringe. But you won't see me doing that with Bednarek. You won't see me doing that with Diallo. But these kind of understated signings are generally the ones that always work. They're low risk,
that's a really good
high
point.
reward.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of writing people off before they came, regardless of what happens. But if you look at some of our more successful players who've come in, with a big reputation, and I mean like a big reputation. This may sound weird because I'm saying big reputation now, and I'm going to talk about Henry Lansbury. But when Henry Lansbury came in, we were thinking, my God, stomping midfielder, ran as ragged, a name in the Championship. He's of the Arsenal, wow. And Henry Lansbury, he was dreadful. He was awful. Came in, high expectations, did not fulfill to his potential, to the hype, to however you want to phrase that. He didn't live up to it. Diallo's coming in at a level where some people, for right or wrong, will say, Ligue 1 tax, fifth choice PSG centre back, all this kind of stuff. It actually helps him putting him down here in a way, doesn't it? Because
100%.
There's only one way to go. And that isn't me saying he's a dreadful player at all. I think
neither of us were enamoured by Chambers, and I would say that yesterday was genuinely the first game he's put wrong for the club. You know what I mean? I can't remember him playing a game. He's been exceptional since. So, and he's every week I'm going, where's Chambers? We at the time, we did that live stream and we was like, Callum Chambers. So these signings, I'm really hopeful that it works out. I am. And yeah, I think that's probably a good place to end this podcast, mate. I think we'll be back. Back the boys, mate. That's what I gotta say. Support the lads. Keep on calm, Villa fans. Let's keep it going.
Are you going to be there on Sunday?
I'm not, unfortunately, mate. I'm working this weekend. So, yeah, this is two home games in a row that I've missed. It's been ages since I've been down to Villa Park. I'm a bit of a plastic fan nowadays, to be honest with you. It's the problem with working in sport, mate, is that your weekends are just like complete clashes. But I'm looking to get a few sorted out and stuff like that. I was meant to go to Bolton yesterday, but obviously I was on holiday and stuff like that. That would have been a dream. So yeah, soon come the Villa Park return. But yeah, I'm a bit of plastic at the moment. I'm ashamed to say.
Life happens. That's the thing. I don't think people really realise that we both work in sport. So that this becomes a chore at times, which it shouldn't, because we're just having a conversation. But yeah, so when you guys are tearing into the comments, just remember we've done this all day. This is we're doing this for fun. So please don't be too harsh. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, guys, hit a like, comment your thoughts below, subscribe. If you're listening on Apple and Spotify, make sure you hit a 5-star. I'm going to try and go the whole season uploading on Spotify and Apple. I've started, so you guys have to hold me accountable. So yeah, and let us as well. I don't think you guys have really picked up on the new branding. Some love for the branding would be nice.
Yeah, shout out Charlotte. Not that Charlotte, the other Charlotte.
We've got so many Charlottes
involved. So shout out to Dan's missus. She's done the most.
We only do things in pairs. If we were to bring in 2 more people, they'd have to have the same names. It would only be right.
Let's hear some suggestions. I want to get some people on board.
Speaking of suggestions, actually, I've been doing some pieces to camera for work, right? And I've been getting absolutely rinsed in the comments for lookalikes. Somebody said And we've asked for lookalikes on the podcast before, but they're all kind of tragic. So I'm hoping that this will reinstate better lookalikes for Dan and I. I got Will Byers season 8 Stranger Things, right? Which I just don't see. I got Regulon of Spurs. I got Chubby the Barler, which I'm like, there is no need to add the Chubby Bar. And who else? There was someone else. Yeah, Chubby the Barler. I have to get a tattoo
so specific. That's so funny.
And there was another one. I can't remember the top of my head, but guys, let us know if there's any lookalikes for Dan and I, because that'd be really nice for some comments. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and up the villa.